Hi, Alan Cutts here with your weekly KT, your weekly knowledge transfer. I want to welcome you into the new year. You can see here in my house, the last issue, we had a Christmas tree up behind me. We took the tree down, took the decorations down, and we're prepped and we're heading to the new year. So today is September the 2nd, and I guess as of last night, here in the U.S. anyway, we've averted the physical cliff that the guys out in Washington worked out some sort of deal, and they're going to push it on down the road a ways, and business as usual. So my message today is about, honestly, I don't think it really matters. I guess it does to some extent, and some people get caught up in it and everything else, but it really doesn't. As business owners, our job is to go out every day and provide top-notch service to the clients and prospects that we work with. So if I do that, if you do that on a regular basis, then things will take care of themselves. I have strived in my business for years to do that and continue to do it. So with the new year coming up, I know that there's a lot of talk about goals and resolutions and what are you going to do? I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to earn so much money. I'm going to do whatever. And, like everybody else, I say like everybody else, and I hope you do as well. I sat down, I spent the last week and a half, and I've still got a few days to go because I work towards getting all my goals this year. My goal was to have a date to have my goals set by, and that was by Friday of this coming week. I give it the weekend. By Monday, business-wise, I'm set up, and we're moving into the future. And then we're working on a 21-day period. I like to set goals. I like to do time of like a 100-day challenge, but then I break it into 21-day segments so that I can kind of work through it and stay on track on a given 21-day basis. It's easier for me. Maybe it isn't for you, but I like having what I call somewhat of a long-term goal, the 100 days, and then breaking it into shorter groups because I figure if I can consistently do stuff on a 21-day pattern and I can reevaluate stuff every 21 days or so, then I can stay on top of where we want to go as a business, and even personally, I want to get back into the cycling and getting fit again. But one of the things I was thinking about in setting our goals, and I'm sure you've heard of the acronym SMART, making sure your goals are specific, making sure they're measurable, attainable, realistic, or some people want to consider the R as relevant, which I kind of like the idea of them being relevant and realistic goals. And then time sensitive. And for me, time sensitive is the 21-day and the 100-day period that we look at for our goals. So I know I run everything back to when I used to compete in Ironman. And this was back in my early 30s, 91, 92, 93. And I trained, I was working out and training, probably 40 to 50 hours a week. And fortunately for me, because I wrote out goals and set up a training log, on a 21-day period, and that was my training log was a 21-day period because I used to do kind of an ebb and flow of training to keep my body in balance and stuff, is not only did I log every day what I did, but I also knew every day ahead what the goal was for the next day and what I planned on doing, if it was a swim bike or swim bike run or whatever that day. And it really worked and served me really well because of being a goal setter and being able to put my training process in the same manner. Is when I was racing at a competitive level, I was pretty fortunate. There were a lot of guys out there, and girls as well, that I raced with that had a lot of injuries because you push your body to train pretty hard. And there were a lot of injuries, knee injuries, hamstring pulls, knees, you name it. People would be cut out of their training and they'd lose ground because of a hamstring, or they'd lose ground because of a shoulder tear or something like that. And I was fortunate, and I think one of it was my body makeup, and I was able to handle the training or whatever. But I think a lot of it had to do with developing the training plan where I knew myself and I knew how to develop a SMART, the acronym again, a SMART training plan for myself. And I think the same is true in business, right? I make it true in my business, and maybe it will be true in your business, is if you look at it and make sure that the goals that you're setting for yourself, and you want big, audacious goals, there's no doubt. You want to dream for the stars and make big, audacious goals. But at the same time, you want to develop them in such a way that you can work through them on a consistent basis, that you know that you can do certain things every day to make it. Because if you set a goal to do something that's just not realistic for you doing, it'd be like saying I want to fly a plane and tomorrow just jump in the plane without someone sitting beside me and thinking I can do it. It's not realistic, So in my business, I work to do the same thing. If I want to get X number of clients over the next so many days or whatever it is, by saying I want to do it in one day, it's just not realistic. I need to have that plan in place, that long-term 21-day, 100-day plan in place to actually make the goals realistic. So in this message, I really just want you to sit down and think. Here's what we do, is I spend about a 2-week period actually in working out the goals for my business. And then in January, I think this year it's January the 12th, my wife and I go on a cruise. It's called the Marketers Cruise, the Ultimate Marketers Cruise, and my wife and I go on it every year. And 400 plus marketers from all over the world, people that are in the same or similar type businesses that the Cuts Group is in, and it's great because there's some great time together. You're working with a lot of like minds, all that kind of stuff. But my wife and I also use it as a period for us to spend some time together, just the two of us, without our work, and plan out our family goals. What are the things that we want to work towards in the next year? And I believe that on a personal level, people really leave that out a lot of times. You don't spend enough time with your spouse or your significant other planning for the future, or planning your next 21 days, or planning your next stuff. I mean, you probably heard it said before, people spend more time planning their vacation than they do planning their life. And I really believe it's so. I believe people spend a whole lot more time thinking about that next big vacation and doing all the due diligence and stuff like that, instead of designing the life that you want, or designing the next 21 days of what you want to get accomplished, not only in your business, but also in your personal life and the things that you want to do. So it's something that my wife and I do, and I'll challenge you to do it with your spouse. I think it's worthwhile, and it makes for a deeper, richer relationship with whoever it is, whether it be your kids, your significant other, spouse, whatever, and so that you're both on the same page. So this week, that's the basic message. It's a new year, September the 2nd, and January the 2nd. I've got September on the brain. It seems like I've said that several times today already, and it's only 10 or 11 in the morning. So anyway, it's January the 2nd. It's time to move forward. It's 2013. Let's make 2013 even a better year than it was last year, than 2012. And I'll leave you with this. Next week, I'm going to start talking about some business stuff as it relates to discounting, because as we move into November, December, and then into January, February, you'll notice a lot of people offering discounts. And not that it's a bad thing. It generates more revenue if done correctly. We work with a lot of customers who use Groupon or Living Social or Woot or a lot of these other type things with the double take deals, things like that. And I've got some very specific ideas on ways to utilize services like Groupon or whatever in business that aren't just a way of selling your services cheap or your products cheap or whatever, but also something that's going to build a long-term relationship with clients and at the same time generate long-term revenue, because you want to build that long-term revenue. So Next week, look forward to some information on how to structure offers for things like a Groupon, and what you should and shouldn't do with services like Double Take, Groupon, Living Social, or even offering discounts, right on your website or right in your own business. A lot of times people will send out coupons for 10 or 15% off or whatever it is, but that might get the customer in the door, but then what? What's the next step? Because you need to know what that long-term value of that customer is to make sure if it's even worth it, or is that customer just coming in the door to to get the deal? And you sure don't want that. You don't want those type of customers. Those type of customers who only come visit you when you're going to offer them the deal. So we'll talk about that next week. And until then, all the best, and make sure you get your goals together, and you're putting together smart, actionable goals for your business as well as your personal life. Okay? Take care. Goodbye.